what's known as a nigun. It's a song without words, so it translates the same in every language. And in the old country, who remembers the old country? A few of you. San Fernando Valley, that's one of the old countries. Even older, though. The one we had to take a boat. LA, right? Hancock Park, I guess. Boyle Heights, there it is. Every little town had its own nigun that was unique to that place. And they would, on Friday night, they would just sing that nigun. And the rabbi would keep singing it until he, and I have to say he because this was back then where there were only he rabbis, would feel that the congregation was singing with the right kavanah, with the right intention. And we all come from outside, we have to deal with the new gate code. There's all kinds of things. We come in here, it's crazy, and we're not ready, and so that's why this song without words helps get us ready. And so sometimes in the old country it would take 5 minutes and everyone was ready, and sometimes it would go on for an hour or so until the rabbi felt, So I guess we'll determine based on your voices how long this is going to take. The words are simple in every language. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Are they ready, right? Gotta do it now. Okay, we're gonna check each time. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yalai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai
I will say this. So, Michael, are we live? Are we online? Michael, is that a yes? Yes, that's a yes. He gave me a thumbs up that we're online. So I just want to share something before we get started, as we get into Shabbat, because I'm not ready yet. But no. I just want to ask everybody here if they heard any good Jewish jokes lately. No, I mean, I was talking as we were literally setting up again with some of you, and including just now with Rick, talking about this week, what's happened since last Shabbos. Because I thought last Friday night, after a couple of weeks of dealing with Kanye and Kyrie, that we were maybe done. And then, of course, a lot of us who were in the either over the weekend listened to or heard the fallout from Dave Chappelle's monologue at Saturday Night Live, which is directly a product of Kanye, and so it was a pretty disturbing weekend in the last few days, because for a lot of us who follow popular culture and deal with the consequences of it, especially with young people, our students at Temple and my children and people out in the community who were asking me questions and for my comment and feedback. It was a really bad week. And I'll tell you, part of the reason was I'm not a real big Kanye West fan. I'm not a huge Kyrie Irving fan. But I am and I was a Chappelle fan. And so for me to watch the monologue was difficult, because I appreciate his art and I appreciate the fact that he's pretty much, most people would consider him the top of the mountain right now when it comes to comedy. And so it was disappointing to see somebody who has had so much success and somebody who I personally enjoyed listening to on many occasions go and possibly do more damage in my mind than what Kanye did, because not only did he normalize some of what Kanye had said by somebody who we cannot say is, well, he has dealt with mental health issues, Chappelle, but he's not off medication from what we know, and nobody's going to say that this was an act from somebody who's either trying to get out of a sneaker deal or is dealing with a collapse of marriage and family, et cetera. And so it was a tough week. And thinking about it and going over it again and discussing it with people, lots of people. I can't tell you how much of my week was in meetings that I had with people, was discussing this and parsing it and having this on our minds. And again, one of the things I just said to Rick was, if anybody had done what he did in a situation where if they had flipped out, taken the word Jew out of there and put almost any other ethnic group, it would have been completely unacceptable and that person would have been canceled. And that's my issue with what had happened, because I don't think that would have happened and it would have not been allowed to happen. As I was talking to Dan Levine too, there's a talk, and we don't know that it's true, that he actually showed a different script, a different monologue script to the producers of Saturday Night Live before he did that, so that he could get in what he did, that they wouldn't have approved of that monologue otherwise. I don't know. But look, part of the point, and again, one of the disappointing things was to listen to Jon Stewart kind of defend this and not hold his friend accountable for it. It was disappointing as well, as even Colbert, who's not Jewish, tried to press him and tried to get him to say that he was disappointed in the content of it, not simply by defending him, saying he shouldn't be censored. And so it was difficult to see a lot of people that I think are good at their jobs behave badly, and so it was a difficult week in some ways to have that go on and have to spend so much time discussing it. And again, I don't know what the consequences of this are going to be, but it was disappointing. And to quote Dave Chappelle, "It's making my job incredibly difficult. I'll be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this." So with that, I'm getting that off my chest. I don't know if the nigun or the music that we're going to hear hopefully will give me a little bit of peace and a little bit of sense of joy this Shabbat, but I'm hoping and praying that we don't have another break in at least my sanity over the next week. So I can only hope and pray. So I'm going to turn it back over to Rick and Addie.
Hello again. We're going to look at the screen for the first song, a couple of introductory songs. I was thinking of Thanksgiving when we picked this song, Lord Prepare Me. The melody comes from a Shaker hymn. Mike,
That's
we're
the
looking
wrong.
for Lord Prepare Me, Pete Hooley. Wendy is a great songwriter and she will sing her songs. This is an interpretation of the lyrics. Sure, it goes like this. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me. Lord, prepare to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. And then this text from Psalm 134, same tune, goes like this. Pichuli, Sharet Tzedek, Avovam, Odea. Pichuli, Sharet Tzedek, Avovam, sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. This is a song all the way from Israel, from the group Nava Tehillah. I like to throw in these songs because I know the rabbi likes them and it makes him feel good about us being here. Got to know that you know this one. You like this one too? Oh, great. My wife likes it too. Bonus. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel v'yoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. That's half the song. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Neharotim cha'uchaf yadadai daidadai. Yachad harim yiranenu. Neharotim cha'uchaf yadadai daidadai. Yachad harim yiranenu. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel v'yoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. Give it a try, Yiram. Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel v'yoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo. Neharotim cha'uchaf yadadai daidadai. Yachad harim yiranenu. 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 Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam umelo. Tevel v'yoshveva. Yiram hayam umelo.
Sprinklers and time singing about the sea.
Well, that's actually part of the Psalms, the Kabbalat Shabbat Psalm. So we do that as Yiram Hayam, as part of the Yismechu. So that's where that comes from usually, from that context. But that's the Hebrew.
Shir Adonai has a year on. There's 2 places.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all part of the Psalms 95 through 99 that are part of the Kabbalat Shabbat Psalm. So it's a beautiful melody. So we're going to continue with another Kabbalat Shabbat song that people hopefully know.
Page 3 in your CD. After doing a bunch of crazy melodies you don't know, we like to throw in a familiar one. Say, oh yeah, these guys are okay after all, I guess. Just a little bit. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem L'Shalom, Malachei L'Shalom, Malachei Elyon.
As we turn to page 5 to light our Shabbat candles, I wanted to ask one of our special friends who's here visiting, but is always a part of our community, BJ Kaufman, if you'd come up to light Shabbat candles. And we have a guest, she's our guest lighter tonight. But Rick and BJ are here visiting from Texas, and it's great to have them here. So we're going to ask, again, on page 5, you can find, you know how to use this one, right?
Yes, I hope
Okay,
so.
okay.
Oh, first try.
Page 5, everyone.
who has taught us the way of holiness through the mitzvot and commanded us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let there be joy.
Let there be peace.
Let there be light.
Let there be Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And you can hear Addie. There's a pretty nice voice underneath there. She's got a beautiful voice, BJ, and a beautiful soul. So we're going to take a moment to say a blessing for our families now, too, to think about the generations. And we're actually thinking about this right now because in this week's Torah portion, we were just talking about the generations of the Jewish people, going back to Abraham and Sarah and Isaac and Rebekah. And again, in this blessing that gets passed down through Genesis and then through us, all the way to us, the blessing for the male side of our family, we say, Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. And for the female side, we say, Yesimech Elohim ke'Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. And for everyone, we offer this blessing of protection and peace. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God's presence enlighten you and be gracious to you. And may God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. And please take a special moment to think about your family wherever they are and send them out blessings. And this is definitely a time to be thinking about family as we're heading into Thanksgiving, into a time when hopefully we're going to see family and friends, and we're going to have a chance to be with people from our lives that may be far away, that maybe we haven't been able to even connect with over the last couple of years. So this is something we're definitely thinking about and hopefully having a chance to be grateful for in the coming days. But we're going to turn to page 6 for welcoming Shabbat as the bride, as the queen, Lecha Dodi.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi. Yalla la 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 lecha kala. Yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat lekabe. Yalla la 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 lecha dodi. Yalla la 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 lecha kala. Yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat lekabe. standing up now. Mike was ready. Face the door, let's greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uv'sohola, toch emuneh, am segula, boi kala. Ya la la, ya la 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 paduri, ya la 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 li krakala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat neka, ya la 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 paduri, ya la 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 li krakala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat neka.
Fabulous rhythm band out in the congregation tonight.
Please remain. Sorry. Oh, I didn't catch you in time. We are on page number 7 and the slide on the screen for the Baruch Hu. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Are you listening to my prayer?
Can you hear my voice? Can you understand?
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Baruch hu et Adonai, Please be seated.
So, our next prayer is a prayer of love, Ahavat Olam. We understand it as a prayer that reminds us that God loves us as the source of love, and of course that follows the Shema Ve'afta, which is also about love. And it's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't recognize or realize how many times the Torah actually speaks about love. Oftentimes it's love between God and the people, and other times, though, it is between people, characters in the Bible. And when it happens that we actually see and we hear people love each other, it is kind of interesting because we don't think about the Bible as a love story, but there are some relationships that are in the Bible that are kind of singled out and are used as examples of love story, including part of this week's Torah portion, which is actually the theme for a special poem.
This poem responds to the following text in this week's Parsha. And she said to the servant, "Who is that man walking in the field towards us?" And Isaac brought her to the tent of Sarah, his mother, and he took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. The poem is called The Entire Thing. Isaac marries Rebekah 3 sentences after meeting her for the very first time. And as we say in our current vernacular, in the very same scene. This is how it was when I met my wife, who, of course, was not my wife at the time, but it was inevitable, like Scripture. It may have taken a few paragraphs and possibly a trip to the tents of Kansas City to confirm what we already knew, despite the cautiousness of everyone who knew us. We're 18 years into this situation, unless you're reading this poem in the future, in which case you'll need to do some addition because I'm quite sure we're still a thing. Isaac and Rebekah had 2 kids who fought in the womb, if you don't mind me jumping ahead, which may be why we only had the one. He's already traipsing around the Southland, holding the hand of the one he regards to be his Rebekah, although they broke up. Words like soulmate are falling out of his 14-year-old mouth like we're still living in biblical times. We hope they avoid the Egypt situation altogether. If you're wondering about the meaning of life, my friends, find your Rebekah or your Isaac. Don't let 3 sentences go by before you acknowledge what is happening. The money may come and go. Whose hand you're holding when you spend it is the entire thing.
And we're reminded in that Torah portion this week that Isaac loves Rebekah, and it gives him healing and wholeness from the loss of his mother. We read about at the beginning of the portion of Chaye Sarah. And so it ends with hope and a recognition that, again, the love that he has for Rebekah doesn't replace exactly the love he had for his mom, but it's a new kind of love, and it's a reminder that love has the power to heal. And that's something that we think about when we also invoke God's love for us. And so on page 8, this is a prayer of love that we say in the evening, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layel negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch ata Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael. We're going to continue with the Shema, which you'll find on page 9, and then an English version of the Ve'ahavta, which you'll find on the slide, on the screen, which we haven't done with you before, but it's not new, so you may know this one already. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Think of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise, and when you rise. Page 10. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la ya la la. Yai la ya la la. Yai la ya la la. Ya la la. Yai la ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilo oseh felech. Nora tehilo oseh felech. Adonai
page 11.
Shalom, 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 shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu l'chashem. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu l'chaim. Shalom. Page 12. Fishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין recitation of the Hatzi Kaddish. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen. May your wonder be celebrated. May your name be consecrated. May your brilliance never fade from the magnificent world you made. May your ways prevail in our own days, in our own lives, and in the life of all Israel. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen. May your name receive the same beauty that you bring, though you are far beyond the sweetest songs we could ever sing. And let us say, Amen. And let us say,
And the Hatzi Kaddish allows us to transition into the Amidah, which begins on page 13. We're going to do the first part of the Amidah out loud. We ask you to rise and start the Amidah with us together on page 13. And again, we're praying for wind and rain. And we got a little bit more wind this week than rain, but we got a little bit of the seasons around us. And again, we use this time for our own silent tefillah. So on pages 14 and 15, please use that time for silent prayer and some personal meditations and expressions of thanks as we get ready for Thanksgiving. So on pages 13 through 15, the Amidah for Shabbat.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah, Rav V'Hoshiach, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofech Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, U'Midomelach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. modim anachnu lach, erev vavoker b'tzoraim, erev vavoker b'tzoraim, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, erev vavoker b'tzoraim, erev vavoker b'tzoraim, modim anachnu lach, 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 erev vavoker b'tzoraim, erev vavoker b'tzoraim. Your ears deserve to hear each other singing this song. So sing it out, close your eyes if you need to, and be as loud as you can in a sweet way, and then listen. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach. Do it again. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach.
So yeah, that comes from the Amidah, the liturgy. And why did you pick that today?
Because it comes from the Amidah,
Yes.
for one, and it's a song I was reminded of listening. You know, I'm sure you all know we spend all of our time just listening to Jewish music throughout the day, throughout the week, and this one came along, and I was reminded of it. It's by Julie Silver, who also wrote the melody to the Ve'ahavta that we sang earlier, and Rosalie Will, who someone who we know from Havana Shira, which is a Jewish music educators conference, and which, you know, it's our whole thing to make each moment that we're doing together meaningful by mixing new things and old things, and sometimes you need a new thing or an old thing that you kind of almost forgot, just to reinvent the moment to really be able to appreciate it.
Oh, I was thinking it was so much more profound.
And because it's Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's
gratitude.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. Guess I was wrong. No, modim. Yes, Addie knew what I was getting at. Yeah, the word modim means thanks. Man.
Right, forget the whole thing about holiness, Thanksgiving. It's just like it says thanks in it.
No. But to be thankful all the time, all times a day, nighttime, morning, and afternoon. In the afternoon, it's sometimes hard to think about that in the middle of the afternoon. That's what's so pretty about that melody, is it ends with afternoon, because it starts evening, right? Because that's our day, right? Evening, morning, and then afternoon. And I think the afternoon is the hardest time to be grateful, because that's where you're in the thick of it. But you should be grateful. Take a time. That's what the Amidah does. Every time if you say the Amidah 3 times a day, then in the afternoon you have a chance to say Modim Anachnu Lach. Now we have a chance to do another prayer, which we're going to do What are we doing? Yeah, we're going to do a prayer. We're going to do the prayer for healing right now, which is a melody that we're going to do. We've been rotating the different prayers for healing. So tonight we're going to do the version that we've done from Todd Herzog, El Na Rafanala. But first, as we do, whether we're singing Mishaberach from Levi Friedman melody, we need you to say the names out loud of the people that you're personally thinking of in need of healing. So we'll start on this side. Go around and give everyone a chance to say those names.
Drew Hudog and Van Helmet and Ann Barbosa.
Kayla Scott, Alicia Beckstrom, Jeff Beckstrom, and Joel Naylor.
Alec. Martha Stolman, Mike Grant.
Heather Stone Cipher, your sister Martha, and Duncan Kelly. Our daughter Debbie.
My daughter Jennifer Quinn.
Mike Schwartz, Joanne Shepard, and Angela Adams.
Rita Rafat. Abby Goodman. And up on the projector, hopefully at home you can see too, the prayer for healing, El Na Rafanala.
El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu.
Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds.
Help clarify our minds.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Rejuvenate our
El Na
Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. Thank you for all these blessings
Thank you for all these blessings.
throughout our days and nights.
Throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey,
We celebrate the journey.
this precious gift of life.
This precious gift of
El Na
life.
Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu. El Na Rifanala, Rifanala Nu.
Please join with us as we turn to page 35, which is the Aleinu prayer. And now having a chance to pray together, to have a beautiful Ma'ariv evening service and Kabbalah service led by Rick and Addie tonight. And we want to thank you for helping us all hopefully find some peace, find some comfort. And now we can come to the Aleinu here, where we hopefully can recognize with a sense of pride and a sense of reaching out to our community and reaching out to others with the blessings of hopefully bringing about oneness in the world and overcoming all forms of prejudice and hatred to feel a sense of oneness. God's name will be one, the world will be at one. On page 35, we rise for Aleinu. L'shabeach ladon hakol.
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, עמק מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום והשבותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Seated, everyone. On page 36, we come to the Kaddish of remembrance, the mourner's Kaddish, time for us to remember our loved ones of blessed memory. And as we recount the losses at this time of year, the Yardsides, Erwin Greenfield, Joel Levinson, Dale Meyerhoff, Mark Turr, Barbara Fredrickson, David Heim, Stanley Stolman, Sidney Schwartz, B. Horowitz, Kurt Kaufman, Leonard Mullen, Leonard Winokur, Gertrude DeQuinn, Irving Goldberg, Shirley Malinak, Jack Davis, and Francis Mullen. We remember Leah Siegel. During this last Shana, this last year, we mourn the passing of Marianne Himlin, Irving Tarragon, Tova Ramon, Dan Zager, Adele Zager, Mariel Mandel, Sandra Hochberg, John King, Daniel Cohen, Dolores Pearl, Mo Blumen, Eric Milak, Barbara Hopkins, Matt Himlin, Anita Locker. We mourn the passing in these last days of one of the young men who attended Albert Einstein Academy and was a friend to many of our young people here at Temple Beth Ami as well, Mark Oxiano. If there are people that you're personally remembering now, we ask you to say their names out loud if we haven't already, to please help us remember them and honor them with the Mourner's Kaddish.
Eileen Lupert.
Lois and Jerry Rudman.
And we remember the victims of war, the victims of terror, even in these last moments in a war going on right now. Ukraine and other parts of the world where people are being killed in wars and in acts of terror. So as we come to page 36, we ask you to rise now and say Kaddish as we remember those we love now and honor them with the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yikadash shmei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chaye echon uvyom echon uvchaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'tromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal. Shemei d'kudashah barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav. Huya osei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, amen. Amen. Please be seated, everyone. And again, we want to thank Rick and Addie for leading us in a beautiful celebration of Shabbat and a way to hopefully find some peace this Shabbat. I don't like to give plugs for other Shabbat services. It's not really another Shabbat service because you've seen parts of this already. But tonight on JLTV, we ran the Todd Herzog Sonoran Shabbat that we filmed out in the desert back in June. It's also on the Facebook page, and we've used parts of it in our Shabbat services. So Todd, who we sang his Elna Rafanala, he sings it on the video. You can actually see him singing it and playing it out in the desert outside Scottsdale. So we actually ran that. We've run it. This was the second time we ran it on JLTV, but you can watch it. You can watch it on Zumo. You can watch it on YouTube and those places too. But that Shabbat service, we've also been using pieces of it on the Shabbat services that we run when we're not doing a live service. So you've seen parts of Todd's services on those, but you can watch the whole thing in its entirety on the network. I also want to mention, because of that, because of what we're doing on JLTV, we also have a service that we actually recorded here in front of some of you, the Rebbe Soul service that we did a few months ago, and hosted here with Bruce Berger with Rebbe Soul, and that is going through the final stages of editing, and we'll have that out for people to see too in its entirety on a Shabbat. You can watch it. You can watch it. You don't have to wait for Shabbat to watch it if you don't want. You can watch it any day of the week. But the Rebbe Soul music and the melodies he did it's a beautiful Shabbat too. He did a little bit, maybe less Shabbat melodies and more some of the traditional melodies and some of the music from other parts of the world that he kind of brings together. So you can have a chance to do that. So that'll be up soon as well. And so again, even though it's not the services that we do here all the time, it is in some cases services that we have done here before. So and there are some other ones that we're going to be doing coming up as well. So you'll be able to see some things that we're recording here, some things that we're recording in other places, but again, a way for people to celebrate Shabbat and to be connected to Shabbat music all the time. Because technically you can watch it any day, any moment through the miracle of computers and internet and the archives and stuff that are up there. So we want to mention that, of course, Rick and Addie will be back next month too, in December, before we go away for, honestly, all of us are going away, but if people are going away, you'll be able to be with Rick and Addie for services on December 16th, which is a Friday night just before Hanukkah. So that is going to be the night that we're also awarding our Pasha Award, the award for Volunteer of the Year. So that's coming up in about a month. We're going to have the Shabbat Hanukkah service, because the following week is actually a week that we know a lot of people are going to be away, and the following week after that too are going to be weeks that people are probably more likely to be traveling. So that's why we're doing the Pasha service and Shabbat service on 7 o'clock on the 16th. But we do have stuff all that weekend. We have, of course, the mall, where we're going to be doing the community-wide Hanukkah celebration. And we also have a great event for the 7th night of Hanukkah, which is an event at the Lemley Theaters. And we're doing the Fiddler on the Roof Christmas Eve sing-along. And that is now up. The link is live. You can buy tickets. And again, those are limited seating. That's limited seating, and it's a first come, first served thing. So once it went live yesterday, we can't guarantee anybody a seat. What's so cool about it is that Greg Lemley, the owner of the theater and of all the Lemley theaters, is actually made it so that we can actually light the Hanukkah, the Hanukkah menorah, up on the roof of the Lemley that night. Isn't that cool? So we're going to actually be able to sing one of the last nights, not the last night, but the last weekend of Hanukkah. We'll be able to celebrate, sing some fiddler songs. We'll have some gifts and some fun there that night, and then be able to do the menorah lighting there. But please book your ticket. And the MC is Kenny Ellis. So Kenny has been doing it for years at the Lemley in Encino, and he's going to come out. He'll be out there to help us light the menorah that night. So that's a very, very cool way. It's a new thing, and it probably will be a regular thing. But this year, it so happens that Christmas and Hanukkah overlap, and so we actually get to do that. So please join us. You can get your Chinese food before or after, and then go up on the roof and after the movie. And if you've never done the Fiddler Sing-Along, it's a really fun thing. They've been doing it for the last few years at the Lemleys, and we're excited we can do it now here in our own backyard. And as you saw, hopefully everybody saw, the tickets for the other two screens we're doing, including this coming Wednesday night, we have the screening of Only in Theaters, where Greg will actually be there. He'll actually be for that special screening. There's a screening this weekend that they're doing. I think they're going to write about it in the Signal this weekend, or they may have come out even today. He's here Saturday, but he's also going to be there Wednesday night with us for this special screening. So that screening is at 7 p.m. We are not having class. Our normal Torah study class won't be going on that night, but you will have a chance to engage at least in some forms of Jewish culture, and maybe you can ask Greg about the Torah portion, because he knows a lot about the Torah. So I'm not putting him on the spot, but I'm saying he might surprise you with his knowledge of Torah. So that's Wednesday night at the Lemleys, just down the road. You also have to get your tickets online, and again, those tickets, we have no control over who can get them. They're up there. You have to buy them when you buy them. So buy them soon. And then the next week, I've already seen about half the tickets are sold out already for the Fabelmans. That is Tuesday night, the 29th at 7:30. That is the movie that Steven Spielberg just made that's semi-autobiographical, and it's coming, it's actually started this week. They started it at the Lemley, but we're going to go together on the 29th. And so please get your tickets for that. So I had to get my own tickets for it too. So it's not like I'm just telling you, you have to do it. I had to do it too. I made sure I did it so that I have tickets for it. So again, the 23rd Wednesday night, and then the following Tuesday night, and then the 24th of December. So those three screenings. We also are working on a special play that's going on in January that is being produced, written and directed by two of our members of our community, Brad Mendelson and Marlo Weissman, are working on a play, Rembrandt, that is going to be going on at the Main, and that's going to be in January. So the theater on Main Street, Newhall. So we're going to give people the date that we get to lock in for the temple for that. So a couple of cultural things we've got coming up in the next couple of months. But so we're going to be very busy. Even during the holidays, we're going to have a chance to do things together. We also want to remind everybody coming up that in between, having less things during the holidays, because we don't have religious school this week, we do have class virtually Tuesday. I want to remind people that our Beyond the Torah study is going to be meeting Tuesday at 9 a.m., but will be virtual, not in person, but we will be doing class Tuesday morning at 9. We are going to be doing some more improvements at the temple, right? Philip, we've got a bunch of improvements that you're going to see over the course of the next few weeks, and Philip's been working nonstop on working with contractors and service providers to make sure that the synagogue is catching up on some of the much deferred maintenance that we've had over the last few years. So the fence, as the gate is up, working, as you know, the lock has been programmed, etc. But we also have a lot of stuff that you won't see. You just trust us when we tell you it's important stuff that we're doing. And Philip, do you want to say anything about that, or you want to mention something about that?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Sergio from Edison. He came out today and fixed both streetlights. So that was really good guy. Called me on the phone, set up a time. Could not have been nicer or more professional. He was just a good person. He got it running. Thank you.
And so we have a light in the back now. The street light in the back is there, and the light on the side is also up now too. So those are some cool little things that were done this week that are pretty important. And again, we're still required Philip's time and effort to get that done. So those are some of the things we've got going on. Some of them you'll see and some of you won't. But one of the next things we have going on at the temple in the coming days, in about 2 weeks, Tracy, do you want to mention with the mic? Give her the mic. Take the mic, Tracy. Okay.
It's for the people at home.
Thousands
so
that are watching, right?
right?
We have our Hanukkah boutique on December 4th from 10. You can come out, PJ. From 10 until 1. We have some great vendors. We actually still got a couple of new vendors today, a clothing vendor who's been with us before. We've got some local artists coming, and so we're very excited about that. So come, make sure you're here on Sunday, December 4th. And then we, of course, have our vodka and latke party during Hanukkah. I can't remember which night it is. I think it's Thursday.
It's Wednesday night, actually.
It's Wednesday night. Sorry, Wednesday night group. It's Wednesday night.
Yeah, but you get latkes.
But you get latkes and vodka.
It's like you don't get nothing.
You could do a little tour in the middle. Whatever that. So don't forget the vodka and latke party. We missed the cheese and wine. The date is December 22nd.
It's December 22nd. So anyways, it's several weeks in the future. But yes, if you want to start getting your liver ready for vodka and latke party, you can start now, about a month out. So we're going to finish up in here. Any other announcements or any other things we need to mention? I think that's it. Because Hanukkah is coming. Hanukkah's coming. And there's a new song, by the way, that I just heard for Hanukkah, guys. But it hasn't been released yet. But we're gonna somehow figure out a way to get people to hear it. I heard it, and it's very cool. It's a brand new Hanukkah song, because the guy who wrote it says we don't have enough Hanukkah songs, and he's right. He knows a little bit about music, because his name is Brad Delson, and he was one of the original band members and leaders of the group Linkin Park. And so he's done a Hanukkah song, which I heard today. It's called My 8 Favorite Nights, and it's a pretty nice song. It's not a rock song. It's a very mellow, it's not a new metal rock song. It's just a very pleasant Hanukkah song. So it's nice to have another song to add to the repertoire. So it's a nice song. So yeah, we'll have hopefully that out for people to hear soon. But what? I don't know if they're doing Sirius XM Hanukkah stuff, but I will. They are for sure?
Yeah.
For sure? Okay. All right. Mike said, I don't know if it's going to be out this year. It might be out next year. They're talking about not having enough time to release it for that, but you'll not know. Well, maybe by next year, Rick and Addie will know it. But anyways, we'll see. They want people to be
Charge
singing.
extra for that.
Yeah. So what are we finishing with, guys? What are we finishing with tonight?
We're finishing with a song by Pete Seeger, a song of gratitude, in a way, a song that reminds us that we're being counted on to keep the world together, no matter what side of any aisle you are on, as long as there's good intentions in your heart to make the world a better place. That's our responsibility. We're being counted on. So that's what Pete Seeger and Lori Wyatt said. The chorus goes like this. Hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, me and you, let's all try that together. Hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, me and you. When we look and we see things are not what they should be, God's counting on me, God's counting on you. When we look and we see things are not what they should be, God's counting on me, God's counting on you. Hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, hoping we'll all pull through, me and you.
Time to turn things around, trickle up, not trickle down.
God's counting on me, God's counting on you. Yes, when drill, baby drill, turns to spill, baby spill, God's counting on me. God's counting on you. Yes, when drill, baby drill, turns to spill, baby spill, God's counting on me. God's counting on you. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you.
And there's big problems to be solved. Let's get everyone involved.
God's counting on me. God's counting on you.
When there's big problems to be solved, let's get everyone involved. God's counting on me.
God's counting on you. Sing it out, people. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you. Don't give up, don't give in. Working together, we all can win. God's counting on me.
God's counting on me.
God's counting on you. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give in. Working together, we all can win. God's counting on me. God's counting on you. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you.
What we do now, you and me, will affect eternity.
God's counting on me. God's counting on you.
What we do now, you and me, will affect eternity.
God's counting on me. God's counting on you. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you. When we work with younger folks, we can never give up hope. God's counting on me. God's counting on you. When we work with younger folks, we can never give up hope. God's counting on me. God's counting on you. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you. Sing it again, let's hear it. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you. One last time. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Open will all pull through. Me and you. Nice singing out there tonight.
Yeah.